Good morning, Pittsburgh. You're listening to Maximize Living Radio. I'm Dr. Alex Pattison on air with Dr. Aaron Greiner. And as always this morning, we're here to teach you, to inspire you, and to coach you to your maximize living potential. So if you're like most Americans, you consider this time of year, especially this weekend as we head into it, the beginning of the holiday season. And here's the skinny on the holiday season. On average, the average American will put on anywhere between 7 to 10 pounds, according to the New York Times, during the holiday season, 4 of which they will never lose. So you just add up 10 years worth of the holidays, and you can very easily equate to your middle-aged weight gain. We tend to start to think of this time of the season, when I say we, the American public, begins to think of this time of the season as the holiday season, but walk into an emergency room or talk to somebody that's on the ER floor, and what they're looking at this is the heart attack and the stroke season. We see cardiovascular issues just go through the roof during this time of the year. And it's surprising for a lot of people that one of the reasons that we see heart attacks and strokes increase, one of the reasons why we see so many Americans suffer from a degenerative illness this year, catapulted by the fact that so many Americans are put on weight, actually have very little to do with the amount of food that the American population is consuming, but more with the quality of the food that the American population is consuming this time of year. What we're seeing is that it is not a caloric problem, it's a hormonal problem. We're going to leave no stone unturned as we discuss weight loss and how it is very real to do this time of the year. You can't afford to miss a single second of this morning's program. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Maximize Living Radio. That was Dr. Aaron Greiner. I'm Dr. Alex Pattison. This morning we're discussing weight loss, specifically how your hormones relate to your body's ability to lose weight or to store that energy as fat. We talked about insulin. We talked about leptin. We talked about ghrelin. I want to start a discussion this morning about cortisol. Cortisol is the body's stress hormone. The cortisol is produced by 2 little glands on top of your kidneys called your adrenal glands that take cholesterol and turn that into the cortisol hormone. Now, it's not unique to cortisol to have a cholesterol backbone. All of the hormones inside of our body have a cholesterol backbone, and this is one of the reasons why we see individuals who have taken statin medications for a long period of time tend to have a hard time with things like their mood, their energy levels, and yes, their weight loss, because if we're decreasing cholesterol inside of the body with the statin medication, we're decreasing the body's natural ability to create hormones. That's a whole different topic. Let's get back onto the task at hand. Let's talk about cortisol and how cortisol directly relates to fat gaining and fat storage inside of the body. Cortisol is the fight or flight hormone. I explain it like this. Let's say I'm in the studio right now, and in walks through the studio a rabid raccoon. So I'm frightened, I'm scared, I want to get away from this thing. My body starts to pump out cortisol. It's the fight or flight hormone. It's going to give my body the energy that it needs in order to fight that raccoon or to run away from that raccoon. So it's going to shunt blood to my cardiovascular system. It's going to get my heart beating faster. It's going to push blood into my muscles. It's going to push blood into my eyes. It's going to take all of my body's energy stores and just have it simply focusing on staying alive in this moment. And that's a fantastic physiological adaptation for my body to survive that immediate stressor. The problem is when the body is chronically in fight or flight. And that's what we see the average American in. There's always a new rabid raccoon to fight. Whether it's finances, trouble at home, work, traffic, you name it, we are constantly in a fight or flight mode. So our body is always fighting that immediate threat, and we don't have the energy, and our body's shifting its energy away from very important physiological functions. One being your digestive tract. If that raccoon comes into my room right now, my body doesn't care how I'm digesting my breakfast. It also doesn't care how well that my body is fighting disease, because it doesn't matter about the cancer cells inside of my body that are going to affect me 10 years down the road. It's worried about the raccoon that's right in front of me. So I hope you guys can understand this. If our body is constantly under this cortisol assault, we're shunting energy away from our body's ability to fight disease and our body's ability to digest our food, which is going to have very severe consequences in both our weight size as well as our overall health. Now, one of mankind's very first stressors was a lack of food. So cortisol gets really tricky. The moment that cortisol cortisol levels are elevated for a long period of time, it actually puts your body into a state of fat storage. It takes very immature fat cells called adipocytes and actually causes them to mature into mature fat cells, which we tend to hold around our belly, around our thighs, and around our buttocks, the very area that Americans are worried about when it comes to carrying extra weight. Now the story gets even deeper. The plot thickens. Cortisol actually triggers the hypothalamus, a very important part of your brain that causes stress cravings, food cravings. So the more cortisol that we are exposed to, the more that we crave food. How many of us are stress eaters? Well, it's a physiological perception. Your body is under stress and it's going to look for these foods because your body thinks you're in a state of starvation, even with large amounts of food and fat stores inside of the body. Cortisol actually narrows the arteries going to the heart, and this is one of the reasons why elevated cortisol levels are associated with increased cardiovascular events, heart attacks, and strokes. I had mentioned at the beginning of the show that this is the time of the season when we see heart attacks and strokes go through the roof, and one of the reasons for this, listeners, is this hormone cortisol. So it's imperative that we take a holistic approach to our health, specifically this time of the year. And I know what's on a lot of your mind right now, listeners, is how do I not only not put on that 7 to 10 pounds that the average American puts on over the holiday season? How do I actually lose this weight this time of the year? And listen, Pittsburgh, we've put the roadmap together for you. We can show you from point A to point B exactly what you need to do to fix your hormones, to fix ghrelin, to fix leptin, to fix insulin, and to fix cortisol so that we can prime your body for weight loss and fat burning this holiday season. If you're ready to do that, if you're tired of being on that treadmill, physically, literally and figuratively speaking, if you're tired of being on that weight loss treadmill, pick up the phone and call 724-766-0154. And what you're going to do by calling that number is you're going to get yourself plugged into one of two amazing events that we have coming up on November 14th. We're going to show you how to lose weight and build health this holiday season at 6:30 p.m. on November 14th at two locations right here in Pittsburgh. We've split the city in half so that it's easy for every Pittsburgher to attend. Pick up the phone and call 724-766-0154. We have a South Hills location at Gianna Villa's Family Restaurant. That's with myself. If that location doesn't work for you, no worries. In Cranberry Township at Bravo Family Restaurant with Dr. Nick and Dr. Aaron, who you just heard a moment ago and you're going to hear a moment again, 6:30 p.m. at Bravo Family Restaurant, 6:30 p.m. at Gianna Villa's Family Restaurant. South Hills, Cranberry Township, one number to call to get plugged into this event, 724-766-0154. And as always, listeners, tickets today and today only are $20. 724-766-0154 is a number that you're going to call. If you do not get through on your first call, and I'm actually getting texts now as we speak from our operator, if you don't get through on that first call, don't worry. She wants to make sure, our operators want to make sure that you get through, that you get one of these seats. So what you're going to do is if you don't get through on your first call, very simply leave your name and your phone number and then stay by your phone, and the operator will give you a call back in the order that the call was received, which means that she's going to call you back before the phone will even let her answer that next phone call. We've got some technology in place. The worst thing you could do would be to hang up and try to call back and hang up and try to call back. That's going to keep pushing you to the bottom of the queue. You most likely won't get a seat. 724-766-0154 is the number to call. The cost is only $20. We have a South Hills location at Gianna Villa's Family Restaurant, a Cranberry Township location. Both times and both events will start at 6:30 p.m. That's Monday, November 14th, 724-766-0154. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Maximize Living Radio. That was Dr. Aaron Greiner. I'm Dr. Alex Pattison. This morning we're discussing with you holiday season weight loss, and that may sound impossible, but it is doable, and we've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of people specifically this time of year lose an enormous amount of weight, not by focusing on their calorie consumption, but by focusing on the quality of the food that goes into their body to regulate their hormones so that they can lose weight. Dr. Aaron just a moment ago was talking about how fat cells welcome the growth of new fat cells. Another huge concern that we have when it comes to adipose tissue, which, by the way, They're literally rewriting anatomy textbooks right now as we speak, because adipose tissue, fat cells, are now being shown to be a true organ system independent of themselves. It's just not this arbitrary thing that hangs around the body. Fat cells are a part of our body's natural ability to detox. Fat stores toxins. So one of the issues that we see with an individual that becomes weight loss resistant, maybe I'm speaking to you right now. Maybe you've dieted and you've exercised and you've done this, that, or the other plan in the past. And maybe you've lost 5 pounds, 10 pounds, maybe you've lost 20 pounds, but then you hit a plateau. Here's the secret, listeners. Here's what's happening inside of your body of why you're not able to break through that. The toxins inside of the body are stored in fat cells. The body is not going to allow you to burn the fat cells if they're holding tightly onto toxins. What I mean by that is that your body would infinitely rather have a toxin, a carcinogen, stored in a fat cell than in a breast tissue cell, a colon cell, a thyroid cell, or a lung cell. So what's going to happen, listeners, is that you may be dieting, you may be crashing, you may be starving yourself, but you're not losing the weight. The reason for that, one of the main reasons for that, is that your body is toxic and it is holding on to those fat cells to not allow those toxins to leave the fat cells and enter into a primary organ. So it's hugely important, listeners, that if you want to lose weight, not only are you focusing on balancing your hormones through diet and nutrition, not only are you focusing on balancing your hormones and your body's energy systems through exercise, but it is imperative, listeners, that we are beginning to detox our body at a cellular level. And this is what we have allowed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Pittsburghers to do, to begin to detox at a cellular level, to not only make their body healthier, but to truly allow their body to break through that weight loss resistance, balance their hormones, and bring amazing, abundant health to the human body. If you're ready to do that, if you're ready to learn how to detox, if you're ready to learn how to not only put on weight this holiday season, but how to lose it, how to get healthier, how to manage stress, how to lose pant sizes and skirt sizes, then you're going to pick up the phone and you're going to call 724-766-0154, and you're going to get yourself registered for our next community dinner coming up on Monday, November 14th at 2 locations here in the Pittsburgh. South Hills location at Gianna Villa's with myself, a Cranberry Township location with Dr. Nick and Dr. Aaron at Bravo Family Restaurant. Both locations, both dinners are going to start at 6:30 p.m. and the cost today, and today only, is $20, but you have to call 724-766-0154, and we're going to teach you, we're going to show you, we're going to unveil to you how to balance the weight loss hormone leptin, how to balance the hunger hormone ghrelin. We're going to show you how to balance the stress hormone cortisol. We're going to show you, listeners, how to balance the fat storage hormone insulin, and we're going to leave no stone unturned to making the end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017 your healthiest year yet. Give us a call at 724-766-0154. God bless. Have an amazing weekend.
You've been listening to Maximized Living Radio.